You won't believe what just happened in Heartland Season 19. Ty Borden came back, the man we thought was gone forever. For years, fans have been grieving. But in the season premiere, something unbelievable happened. It was short, it was powerful, and it left fans speechless. Ty Borden was more than just a character on Heartland. He was the heart of the show. From the moment he first stepped onto the screen as a troubled young man with a rough past, fans connected with him. We watched him grow. We watched him fall in love with Amy. We saw him become a father, a husband, and a true part of the Fleming Bartlett family. His journey wasn't just about healing horses. It was about healing himself and helping others do the same. So when season 14 began with the shocking news of his death, it hit everyone hard. There was no warning. No slow goodbye. Ty was just gone. One moment he was there, standing beside Amy, and the next, tragedy struck. A blood clot from a past injury took his life suddenly, and Heartland was never the same again. Fans were heartbroken. Some even stopped watching, because for them, Heartland without Ty wasn't Heartland at all. But the show went on. Amy tried to move forward. She focused on raising Lindy and running the ranch. Jack and Lou did their best to support her. But through it all, there was an emptiness. The kind of silence that follows a storm. You could feel it in every scene. A missing piece, a shadow in the background. Even when no one talked about it, Ty's absence was always there. And that's why the season 19 premiere has shocked the entire fan base. Because just when everyone had finally started to accept that Ty was gone forever, he appeared. It wasn't a full return, not in the way you might think, but his presence, it was real. And it changed everything. The scene came unexpectedly. Amy was alone with Lindy, sitting by the old jumping arena where so many memories live. The wind picked up, the music softened, and then she saw him, Ty, standing at a distance, just like he used to, hands in his jacket pockets, that calm, knowing look on his face, no words, just a moment, quiet, emotional, and powerful. Was it real? A dream, a memory, the show didn't say. And that's what made it even more emotional. Because in that moment, every fan watching felt the same thing. Ty was back. Whether it was his spirit, a vision, or a brief return from the past, it didn't matter. What mattered was the feeling, the connection, the love that never truly left. People online lost it. Tweets poured in within minutes. "I'm crying right now," one fan wrote. Another said, "It felt like getting a piece of my heart back." And someone simply wrote, "He's home," because for many, Ty wasn't just a character. He was family. What makes this scene even more meaningful is that it didn't need dialogue. No dramatic music, no big announcement, just a quiet moment filled with emotion, surrounded by the place where Ty and Amy built their life together. A place full of memories, some happy, some painful, but all of them real. The writers knew what they were doing. They didn't bring Ty back for shock value or fan service. They brought him back to remind us, and Amy, that healing takes time, and love never truly dies. And in a show like Heartland, where emotions run deep and relationships are the core of the story, that kind of moment matters more than words ever could. This single scene changed the entire tone of the season. Suddenly, people are talking about Heartland again. Old fans are returning, new theories are spreading. And everyone's asking the same question, is Ty really back? Or was that goodbye? The moment Ty appeared on screen in season 19, everything paused for Amy and for us. It wasn't flashy. There was no dramatic entrance. It was quiet, gentle. Almost like the show was whispering, he's here. But for fans who have carried the weight of his loss for 5 seasons, it hit like thunder. Amy was standing near the barn, brushing one of the horses. Lindy was nearby, playing with a feather she'd found on the ground. It was an ordinary day at the ranch, peaceful, still, and then Amy turned her head just slightly. Her expression changed. She blinked, like she wasn't sure if what she was seeing was real. The camera shifted, and there he was. Ty Borden. He stood just beyond the fence line in the soft golden light of the early evening. Dressed like he always was, jeans, work boots, and his classic brown jacket. His hair a little longer, just like we remember. He didn't move. He didn't speak, but his presence was undeniable. It was like time folded in on itself, letting us see through it, into something deeper, something we weren't supposed to reach anymore. Amy's breath caught. Her eyes welled with tears, though none fell. She just looked at him. And he looked back. The show gave us space to feel that moment. There was no quick cut, no sudden change of music, just silence. And the sound of the wind moving through the trees. It was haunting and beautiful at the same time. Then, Ty gave a small smile, barely there, but unmistakable. A smile that said, "I see you. I'm proud of you. I've never left." Amy didn't say a word. She simply nodded, and he was gone. That. Was it? It lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to tear open every old wound and somehow begin to heal it at the same time. Fans immediately started asking questions. Was this a dream? Was it Ty's spirit visiting Amy? Was it her imagination finally letting go, or was it something more? Some believed this was Heartland's way of giving Amy closure. That maybe, after all these years, she needed to see Ty one last time to fully move on. Others think this was just the beginning of a larger twist, that perhaps Ty will return again in more scenes, maybe in flashbacks or memories from other characters' points of view. And then there are those who believe this wasn't just emotional storytelling, but a hint that the showrunners are testing the waters. Testing us, seeing how the audience reacts to Ty's presence again. Because let's face it, the show has never fully recovered from his absence. It's done its best. The actors have given incredible performances. The stories have tried to move forward. But the shadow of Ty Borden is always there. And maybe, just maybe, they're thinking about bringing him back in a bigger way. Technically, Ty died from a blood clot caused by a gunshot wound. We saw the funeral. We saw the pain. It was real. But in the world of television, especially in a show like Heartland, that often walks between reality and emotional dreamscapes, anything is possible. It wouldn't be the first time a show revisits a character in powerful, unexpected ways. Even if this is the only scene we get of Ty in season 19, it's already had a huge impact. Social media has exploded. Fans are posting edits of the scene, writing letters to the creators, and some are even starting petitions for more Ty appearances. The community is alive again, united by that same feeling that brought them to the show in the first place: love, loss, and hope. And more than anything, people are talking about Amy, about how strong she's been, and how much she needed. That moment, after years of carrying her grief quietly, seeing her face light up even just for a second, reminded us all of the deep connection she shared with Ty, a love that wasn't just romantic, but so deep, unshakable, eternal. That's what made the scene so powerful. It didn't need to explain itself. It didn't have to justify why or how Ty appeared. It just trusted the audience to feel it, to understand that some returns don't need a reason. Some moments are beyond logic. They exist simply because the heart needs them. And in Heartland, the heart always comes first. As soon as Ty Borden appeared on screen in season 19's premiere, the internet exploded. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, fans everywhere were crying, cheering, stunned, and completely overwhelmed. It wasn't just a scene. It was a moment that shook the Heartland community to its core. For some, it was healing. For others, it reopened wounds they weren't ready to face again. Either way, people couldn't stop talking about started trending. Screenshots of Ty standing in the golden light flooded timelines. Fans began posting side-by-side comparisons. This moment beside Amy and Ty's wedding, the birth of Lindy, and even Ty's last scene from season 14. They were piecing together a puzzle that didn't have all the answers, and didn't need to. Because the feeling was enough. One fan tweeted, asterisk. This mix of emotions, joy, sadness, confusion, closure shows just how powerful Heartland still is, even after nearly 2 decades. It also proves how deeply connected fans are to these characters. For many, Ty's return wasn't just a moment on screen. It was personal. Asterisk people grew up watching Ty. They saw parts of themselves in him, the struggle to change, to belong, to love despite the past. So when he died, it felt like losing more than just a character. It felt like losing a part of the journey. And this scene, even if brief, gave that part back. Asterisk one Reddit user said it best. Asterisk greater than whether it was real or not. Seeing Ty again reminded me why I fell in love with this show. It's not about drama or shock. It's about people, about growth, loss, and love. And this moment, this quiet, powerful moment, brought all of that back. Asterisk now fans are divided. Some want more Ty. They're hoping this was just the beginning, that we'll see him again through flashbacks, letters, or even in dream sequences that help Amy move forward. Others say this was perfect the way it was, that bringing him back more would ruin the beauty of this single, haunting moment. Asterisk either way, one thing is clear. Ty Borden is still part of the Heartland family. And his story, even after death, still has the power to move millions. Asterisk now that the emotions have settled, at least a little fans are starting to ask deeper questions. What does Ty Borden's appearance actually mean for the story? Was this just a one-time tribute to bring closure for Amy and long-time viewers? Or is Heartland planting the seeds for something much bigger, maybe even a slow, surprising return? Asterisk to understand the weight of Ty's reappearance, we have to look at it from both a storytelling and a character perspective. Asterisk, let's start with Amy. Asterisk for the past 5 seasons, Amy has carried her grief quietly, like a heavy saddle she never took off. She focused on her daughter, the wrench, and the work that once connected her to Ty, healing horses. But viewers could always feel that something was missing. Not just Ty's physical presence, but the emotional thread he represented. Their relationship was the emotional heartbeat of the show for over a decade. So Ty's death didn't just break Amy, it shifted the entire show's emotional foundation. Asterisk this single, silent return, Ty appearing for just a few seconds, was more than nostalgia. It felt like a turning point for Amy, like a key finally turning in a locked door. Asterisk, what if Ty's appearance wasn't meant to reopen old wounds, but to help her close them, properly, fully, and with peace? Asterisk in grief psychology, this kind of moment is often described as symbolic closure. It doesn't erase pain, but it allows the person grieving to release some of it, to accept that while the loss is real, the love remains. And that's exactly what the scene captured. Ty didn't speak, he didn't physically interact. He just was present, peaceful, watching Amy and Lindy with quiet pride. It said everything without saying anything. Asterisk this is the most likely explanation, Amy's subconscious finally allowing her to see Ty not as a ghost or pain, but as comfort. She wasn't panicked. She didn't wake up crying. It was calm. That suggests she may have found a place of acceptance inside her, and this moment reflected that shift. Asterisk another theory is that this moment didn't happen in real time, but through memory. Perhaps Amy was remembering a moment from years ago, a quiet evening where Ty stood just like that. Maybe her mind brought it forward again to remind her of who she still is, not just a widow or a mother, but Amy, the woman Ty loved and helped grow. Asterisk some fans are diving into the spiritual side, pointing out that Heartland has always respected the natural world, emotions, and unseen connections. Could it be that Ty's spirit came to check in, to reassure Amy that she's on the right path. Shows like Heartland rarely take a supernatural turn, but the gentle tone of this scene left room for interpretation. It wasn't spooky, it was soothing. Asterisk, and finally, the wild card theory. That this scene is not the end, but the beginning. Maybe Ty's appearance was a test. Not for Amy, but for the audience, to see how we'd respond. And let's be honest, the reaction has been huge. If the writers see that viewers want more of Ty, even in flashbacks, dreams, or narration, it opens the door for deeper storytelling. Asterisk, now let's zoom out. From a production perspective, bringing Ty back in a limited way makes a lot of sense. Actor Graham Wardle left the show voluntarily in season 14. He wanted to explore other creative paths. But he's always spoken highly of the cast and the fans. If this scene was filmed with his participation, and it looks like it was, then that tells us something important. He's open to returning, at least in small ways. Asterisk, so what does this mean for the rest of season 19? Asterisk, here's what we might expect. Asterisk, more emotional callbacks. Ty's return could spark more personal growth for Amy. Maybe she finally opens up about her grief. Maybe she talks to Lindy about her dad in a deeper way. Asterisk, flashbacks or memory sequences. If this scene was successful, the show might include more of Ty through Amy's memory, even brief ones. That would let Graham Wardle appear without reversing Ty's death. Asterisk, healing through storytelling. The ranch has always been about mending horses, people, families. Ty's presence could symbolize a turning point for the entire family, not just Amy. It might even bring together storylines that have drifted apart. Asterisk, but there's also a risk here. If the show leans too far into Ty's return, it could feel like it's avoiding moving forward. If they do too little, it might feel like a tease. That balance between honoring the past and building the future is what season 19 must navigate. Asterisk, still, even if this moment was a one-time gift, it already means something big. It proves that Heartland still remembers its roots. It shows that the writers haven't forgotten what brought people to this story in the first place. Connection. Asterisk, and for fans, that connection is everything. Asterisk, so now that the shock has settled, the big question remains, what happens next? What are the fans saying? What do they want to happen? And what can we expect from the rest of season 19? Asterisk, across fan communities, Reddit threads, Facebook groups, YouTube comments, the return of Ty Borden has sparked a storm of theories. Some are grounded in emotion, some in story logic, and some are pure wishful thinking. But every one of them proves just how much Ty's presence still matters. Asterisk, let's explore the most popular fan theories right now. Asterisk, many fans believe Ty's return was only the beginning. That season 19 will follow Amy as she slowly opens the emotional vault she's kept locked for years. According to this theory, the brief vision of Ty wasn't a one-time dream, but a memory trigger, encouraging her to remember more moments from their life together. Asterisk, what does that mean for the show? We could see more flashbacks, small scenes pulled from the past, or even newly filmed sequences of Amy recalling Ty, maybe around the ranch, while parenting Lindy, or in quiet moments alone. These memories would give fans more of Ty without undoing his death, and could help Amy finally forgive herself for surviving when he didn't. Asterisk, this theory suggests that Ty may have left behind a letter, a journal, or even a recorded message, something Amy or Lindy hasn't found until now. Maybe Jack or Lisa finds it stored in an old box. Maybe it's hidden in Ty's old barn gear. Asterisk, if true, this would give fans a chance to hear Ty's voice again, maybe even get closure on his deepest thoughts before he passed. It would also allow Graham Wardle to record a small voiceover performance, no camera needed, which is something fans believe he'd be open to. Asterisk, a more emotional theory, but still gaining traction, is the idea that Ty will appear multiple times this season, not in flashbacks or memories, but as a sort of spiritual guide for Amy, not a ghost. Not a hallucination, just presence. Asterisk, similar To how Amy connects with horses on a deeper level, this version of Ty is tied to her soul. He appears in times of uncertainty, not to give her answers, but to remind her of who she is. If done right, this could be a beautiful way to keep Ty involved without undoing anything the show has built over the last 5 seasons. Some fans believe that Ty's return is a sign that Heartland is preparing for its final season, maybe season 20. If that's the case, bringing Ty back, even briefly, could be a signal that the writers are ready to wrap the story full circle. It's possible the writers want Amy's arc to end where it began, not with loss, but with love. That doesn't mean they'll bring Ty back to life, but it does mean we might see more of their connection before the series ends through visions, dreams, or heartfelt memories, allowing the show to close with emotional balance. They want Amy to find peace. They want Lindy to understand who her father was. And they want Ty's memory to matter, not just as something painful, but as a living part of the show's heart. Even fans who were initially skeptical about revisiting Ty's storyline are changing their tune. Why? Because the moment was handled with grace, emotion, and most importantly, respect. This moment has done more than just bring back a beloved character. It's reinvigorated the entire fan base. Viewership has spiked. Social media engagement is climbing. Even people who stopped watching after season 14 are now catching up, just to witness Ty's return. And that says something powerful about the Heartland community. They never stopped loving him. And they never stopped hoping quietly, patiently, for just one more moment.